Welcome, and thank you for clicking on this video. In this video, I'm going to present to you the new for 2024 Harley Benton Mustang style short scale bass. It may be new for 2024, but is it improved? Let's find out. So the model number for this is the MV-4MSB. This is from Harley Benton, and this is their version of a PJ style Mustang bass. This is a first generation PJ offset Fender, and it's pretty clear where the inspiration came from. Let's quickly go over some of the specs. This is a solid alder body. It is mated to what they call a caramelized Canadian maple neck. It has a laurel fingerboard, and it has pretty cool looking binding. This version has different pickups in comparison to the first iteration. The first iteration had Roswell pickups. These feature what they are calling the HBZ custom wound. It's a PJ configuration, P-style humbucker in the middle sweet spot position, and a single coil jazz pickup at the bridge. Improved from the first version, you now have a pickup selector switch in the same style as the Fender Player Series Mustang. Completely passive bass, the controls are master volume and master tone. The tuners are also different on this bass. There were Godos on the first iteration. These now have what looked to be a copy of the older Shaler Fender partnership ultralight tuners with this kind of rubbery plastic type material. But the tuning paddles themselves, these look like they came off a Squier Mini P or a Squier Bronco. So it's kind of this hybridized tuner. But unfortunately, gone are the Godo tuners from the first generation. This has a 1.5 inch nut width, so same as a jazz bass and same as the Fender PJ Mustang. And it has a pretty plain Jane bent metal bridge with brass saddles. Now, one really cool feature about this bass and this iteration is the truss rod adjustment is now in a wheel form. So now you no longer need to fuss with Allen keys that are too short for a headstock location, or you don't need to worry about having a cutaway in the pickguard here to get an Allen key in there. This, you can just stick any small screwdriver or Allen key, but in the box you get this whammy bar looking screwdriver looking tool that you can actually put in there and you can make some adjustments. Well, let's hear how this thing sounds. Let's start with the master volume all the way up. Let's start with the pickup selector in the middle, so both pickups, and we'll start with the tone at 0 all the way down. Let's roll that tone up to 50%, still both pickups. Let's roll that tone up all the way open, 100%, both pickups. Let's put the pickup selector switch towards the neck. So now we are soloing the P pickup. Let's turn that tone knob back down to 0. Tone knob 50%, P pickup. Toe knob 100%, P pickup. I should mention, these are the stock strings. They are a short scale set with gauges 105 to 45 as per the website. Let's now hear the J pickup. So selector at the back, toe knob all the way down to 0. Toe knob 50%, J pickup. Let's roll that toe knob all the way up 100%, J pickup. All right, well, let's now hear this Harley Benton MV-4MSB in the context of a drum track, and we'll see how it sits with the drums. We'll have 6 different passes of this track, and we'll feature different combinations of these pickups with the toe knobs at 50% and 100%. Here we go. I hope you enjoyed that playing example. Please let me know what you thought of the tones by leaving a comment below. Let's first talk about the good things. At time of filming, these basses are selling for $209 US from the Thomann website. For $209 US, like I said in the first video, for the first iteration of this bass, it's incredible you can buy a bass at all, especially one that actually stays in tune and plays relatively okay. So from a value point of view, pretty good. I also like that the version 2 for 2024 version comes in a variety of different cool colors. And for me, seafoam green and Daphne blue, those kind of classic car Fender colors I quite like. So I had the chance to buy the seafoam green one. And I gotta say, it looks pretty sharp. The matching headstock is a very nice touch. Now, in terms of how this version of seafoam green compares to a Fender color, I happen to have a seafoam green Fender, and as you can maybe appreciate over the internet and through the camera, you can tell that the seafoam green on the Harley Benton is kind of paler and lighter in color and less deep than the Fender. I like that this has a 1.5 inch nut width, so similar to a jazz bass, and it does ease some of the playability in the first fretting positions. This bass comes in weighing at 8 pounds and 5 ounces. So it's not exactly a lightweight short scale instrument, but it's pretty manageable. Like all Mustang style basses, it does have a bit of neck dive, but I think that is just the nature of the Mustang style body. All right, those are the good things. Let's talk about the not so good and some of the bad things. In terms of hardware, overall, when you look at it, it looks like a pretty solid bass. But when it comes time to actually putting it through its paces and using it, that's where you start to appreciate the weaknesses a little bit more. Let's start with the tuners. They look okay, but unfortunately, all 4 of these tuners felt different. And yes, there's an adjustable screw here at the end of the clover leaves that you can adjust how tight they feel. But out of the box, all 4 felt different. Now, I don't know if you can appreciate this on the camera, but this tuning leaf here for the G string looks noticeably bent that way. My feedback for Harley Benton in the tuner department would be, bring back the Godos. The strap pins are so-so. I'm gonna put this up to the microphone so maybe you can hear it, and that's just the sound of the bottom strap pin turning round and round, despite my having tightened it several times. So the addition of this tug bar here, I realize is kind of, they're trying to be more kind of period correct with what Fender was doing. So the purpose of this tug bar is you can rest your fingers underneath here and you can pluck with your thumb, which was how Leo Fender kind of intended the basses to be played. It's a cool aesthetic. However, if you play further up closer to the neck here, even pizzicato style, you're gonna find that that gets in the way of your fingers. And if you want to do any slap and pop style at all, there's nowhere to put your finger. Easy fix, you can just unscrew this and take it off, but then you're going to be left with some exposed screw holes. In terms of the wood and the construction, overall, the fit is pretty good and the neck pocket is pretty good, but the fretwork is so-so. One good thing it has going for it is because it does have fingerboard binding on both sides, you have less of an issue with fret sprout out of the box. However, the edges of the fret here were not perfectly rounded, so there were still a few sharp spots. And because I play with a glove on my fretting hand to kind of keep the arthritis and the vasculitis at bay, this was a fresh glove at the morning of this session, but there are already several scratches and holes in it already, just from sliding up and down the neck, and you can hear it. Can you hear that fabric catching on the fret ends? So that part, I'm not quite sure I would give those fret ends a passing grade. Now the tops of the frets were polished. However, they are not smooth. And again, let me put this in front of the microphone. You can hear the string grinding on the top of the fret. Now, when you're playing, that feel was really kind of disorienting for me. And as a result of the scratchy frets, any kind of string bending is met with more resistance. And I actually found, as a result of the scratchy frets, that it made the whole neck play less evenly, which is bothersome for me. Just for comparison, here is my Fender, which doesn't have perfect frets, but certainly much better. You don't have that grinding noise. And you can make the argument that that has flat wound, so it's not a fair comparison. But here's my short scale Junior Collection J. This has Fender round wounds on it. Again, you don't get that kind of scratchy grinding noise. That I've been getting with this Harley Benton. So again, less ideal. In terms of the neck, looks cool. Advertises it being caramelized, which I gather is their version of it being roasted maple. However, if you ever smell a roasted maple neck, especially the ones from Ernie Ball, they have a particular aroma to them, and this doesn't have that. I don't know why. Let's talk about the electronics. So these are different pickups in comparison to the first iteration. These are called the HBZ Custom Wound. And I must say, I'm not a huge fan of how, especially the P pickup sounds. I find the P pickup just kind of, even with the tone knob wide open, it lacks that kind of mid-range snarl, grind, mid-range pokiness that a precision pickup is supposed to have. It's just kind of a lackluster sounding precision pickup. In contrast, however, the J pickup was a bit of a surprise. Usually the J pickup soloed on a short scale basis, not always a usable sound. Usually they're pretty thin sounding. But this one has a snarl to it that I quite like. So here's the tone wide open, volume wide open. Now on further inspection, the pole pieces of the J pickup are actually larger in diameter in comparison to the P pickup. So purely from that observation, I wonder whether or not this J pickup is a hotter hotter wind, or it's a different type of pickup altogether. They're marketed as both L-nickel 5s, but the J pickup sounds like a different pickup compared to the P. Now, in terms of out-of-the-box setup, these days, most out-of-the-box setup issues can be forgiven because basses are traveling all around the world, different temperatures, different humidities. So it is almost not fair for a bass that has flown overseas to be expected to be set up perfectly out of the box. And this one was not. Out of the box, it came to me a little backbowed. I found it difficult to capture the degree of backbow in a photograph. However, this did require at least a quarter turn of the truss rod to get the neck straight. So overall, this Harley Benton MV-4MSB for $209 US is a reasonable value for an entry-level short-scale bass. But I think you had to be prepared that out of the box, this bass will require some setup work and some intonation work. So there you have it. Harley Benton, new for 2024, version 2 of the MV-4MSB. Definitely new. Not quite sure it's improved, but still, $209 US. At that price, your expectations can't be that high. All right, well, that does it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.